mute my Twitch page and take a drink. And we should be good to go. I'm hopeful. Looks like we're fine on Twitch. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is May 28th, and this is the May 28th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be getting custom games to actually be playable. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get it to a point where we can actually finish a custom game, but the goal is to basically get it to where we can make a couple of rooms and hit play to actually test it. We'll see how far we can get with that. At the very least, I want to be able to play the first room. If we can get connections and exits and stuff working, that would be great. But gonna keep it to the minimum thing today. Just not entirely sure what's going to be necessary to make it all flow very well. I don't think it'll be that bad, but you know, every time I say that, it ends up taking 4 hours. So, show you where we are currently. I have save states, well, not save states, so custom game information being saved out to save files and being loaded in from those save files and accurately positioning the nodes. So if I start, let's go to extras, author mode, create. I have 2 Zorks here, but the second one's just a copy. So here, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I have it saving out correctly, but I don't have it loading in correctly for some reason. So you'll notice that the starting room node was on top of the room 2 node, which is very odd. So, isn't that fun? Okay, so we'll look into that real quick. I think I might know what's doing that. Maybe. We'll see. Either way, so after moving things around, I can actually look at my save file, and you can see that I have rooms, and then I have node positions. Now, the reason that these are being stored in 2 distinct places is because eventually there's going to be 2 different formats. There's going to be I guess I probably should have different extensions for them too. So there's CTBA, which is Custom Text-Based Adventure, and that's the base file format, although right now it's pulling double duty for both editor and just regular game. But in the future, we're probably going to have something like a CTBA, so for authors, Custom Text-Based Adventure, and that's going to contain extra information like node positions and connections, because node positions and connections are actually irrelevant to the final game itself. They're just extra bits of information for editor functionality. So I would like to be able to publish everything without that. That way you can keep the file sizes, that way you can keep your file size as small as possible. But also, if you don't want to share your layouts for everything, then this is at least some way of preventing someone from, say, just like taking your custom text-based adventure, changing 2 words, and then reposting and being like, look at my awesome text-based adventure. So it would at least be somewhat inconvenient for them. Although if you choose to, you know, just use your regular CTBA, then that's fine. So actually, I might just have them be the exact same. Either way, so those 2 do get saved in distinct places. One is the actual room information, so its ID, its name, its description, and any of its connections. Although that's actually, oh, that's interesting. It doesn't look like it's listed here, which might be because it's empty. And then a second place that actually stores information on where it's located in the map. Because again, this is actually just superfluous information that's only used for, oops, don't need to do that. Anyway, and it gets adjusted anytime we make a adjustment in our positions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop playing. We are going to come over here to custom game map view. Hit save here, and actually I guess we're going to go to custom author session. We want from JSON. This is the function that loads all of our position data in. And let's see here. We got positions JSON, get object at index I, room positions, position JSONs.get value, or get int value. That gives us our ID from the room, and then it's going to set room positions to be Okay, good, I am. And then it's going to set the actual value to be what it needs to be. Although, so let's take a look at this. Is what our save file looks like. So these are two distinct positions, and that should work. And they have their own distinct IDs. So let's see if that actually positions them correctly. Maybe it was an odd saving error from before, although I seriously doubt that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and give it a try. If not, it's not a huge deal. It's more of a minor inconvenience. Oh, good. It's doing that thing again. Okay. I don't know why, but sometimes this compiling spinner will keep spinning forever until I right-click, and then it will actually finish compiling. I have no idea what causes that, but it is very frustrating. Let's go ahead and skip through this. Type start. Extras, author mode, create, work. So there we can see that they're loaded in two distinct spots. So that's weird. And then if we hit map, nope, they're in the wrong spot. Are they negative and positive? Oh! Oh, that's interesting. One of them is getting turned into positive values. So it's loading, but it's loading in the positive, which is odd. So you can see here, I can't click on it, otherwise it's going to recompile. But you can see here that it's negative 280 x28y for our node with ID 10, which should just be our starting node. And then here it's just positive 280. So that's interesting. I wonder why. That makes me think that it's actually something with my number parser. Okay. Well, let's take a look at that real quick, I guess. So, 2 vector 2. I bet I did something stupid like I trim everything until we hit a number. Let's see, so we have our raw value for each char. See if char is number. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Fine, but I'll go ahead and do that again. Or char dot equals c comma negative. So yeah, it was me being stupid. I forgot the negative sign in my 2 vector 2 here, which means I probably need to have that to my 2 vector 3. Okay, now let's see if that will fix it. So this will reload it. I'm going to make this negative manually. Okay. Give that a shot. And let's go. Ah, man. Should have filled up my water bottle. Start. Extras, author mode, create. Does work. Map and pa! Ta-da! That works. Okay. So that was just me being a little silly with how I was doing things. Currently, I do know that my connections are a little bit wonky when they load in, so I'm not exactly going to try that right now. But at least I did fix a bunch of other issues with loading, so that's what I was doing yesterday when I pushed the regular Saturday Devstream to today. There were just a couple of minor issues that were really tedious to fix, and I didn't really see much reason in broadcasting that. So anyway, so right now, hitting play does nothing. But in the future, or by the end of today, hitting play here should actually load up all of this information and put us in the starting room. Now, how to actually get this to function? Well, let's go ahead and stop playing. And let's see here. get rid of string extensions and probably get rid of file manager. Custom game author session. We're going to need to go to the base. Custom game session. Go to definition. All right. So the custom game session is the class that's meant to basically run a custom game, unlike custom game author session, which is meant to write a custom game. Basically, custom game author session is built on top of custom game session. So custom game author session just has a bunch of extra functionality, like keeping track of positions for nodes and all that stuff. It's a lot of visual stuff that it's doing, whereas the custom game session is actually doing a lot of back-end stuff. So what we need to do is we need to load up the information into custom game session and then tell it to put everything in order and give us information when we request it. So I guess we'll probably want to have, do I want to have like a start game function maybe? We'll find out. This is also, actually, by today we might know what our, or by the end of today we might know what our save file system is going to look like for custom games. In the past, I was thinking that I would try to smush the two together, so you would have one file that was your custom game information and your progress information, but it might actually be better to have a base file that's like CTBA, custom text-based adventure, and then maybe a custom text-based adventure save file that's, I don't know, CTBAS or something like that. Basically so that we can just save out whatever bools and such that you need to that save file, and then the custom game itself will know what to do with all of that information when it's loaded in. That way you can have more than one person playing a custom game at a time, and I don't have to make really odd, convoluted custom game files that might have save data but might not, and that means that you would have to manually go in and strip out save data if you don't want it in there when you pass it to someone else. I don't know. This way it'll just be a little bit cleaner, I think. But anyway, we're not there yet. We need to actually have a start game function, basically. So, okay, how to do this? Let's go ahead and do, I guess, this is going to be interesting. So we're going to say protected. Do I have an action? No. System.action. What do I want to call it? Game end callback. Okay. Then once we're done there, we're going to go up to, so load game data takes a JSON blob and actually loads all of the information. So your variables, pretty much everything from this save file. So variables, rooms, game information, settings, all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and we're going to want to have public, I guess we'll make it virtual for now. Virtual void start custom game. And here's where it's going to get difficult. Oh, geez, this is going to get really difficult, isn't it? Nope, we're not thinking that far ahead. Okay, so I'm just going to take a JSON object, JSON, and that's literally it. So it's basically going to be the same thing as load game data. Although, actually, I might not even need to pass that. I probably could. Hold on. I bet I could basically just make sure that you load game data before you hit start custom game. That would probably work. Okay. So let's get rid of this, and instead, do I want to have a, no. All right. We're probably going to need to have a custom input menu. I I wasn't sure if I could reuse my existing input menu for the custom text-based adventures, but it's probably actually going to have to be a custom one, just because the existing one, well, no, yeah, it should be fine. The existing input one is actually fairly dumb, so that should work. It should more be a question of so start custom game is actually going to need something. It's going to need a system.action game over callback equals null. Game and callback equals game over callback. Probably should change that. So this dot game end callback. All right. And the reason I'm passing that is so that let's say you want to test your game in the custom game map. When the game's over or when you exit, it'll actually open up the map again. We can do stuff like that. So that's what this callback is going to do. Let's see here. So start custom game. Let's go ahead and say public virtual void end custom game. Capital G, come on. I guess I won't take anything. Okay. And let's see here. So starting it. I'm trying to think. Let me go ahead and go to my input view. Input view. What does it do on submit? That is going to be the interesting thing. Submit. Pretty sure it goes to the parser. In theory, all of that stuff should be fine. I'm just going to have a lot of objects that will wrap to the main system without me needing to change much, which is good, because if I had to rewrite that entire system, it would be terrible. So, okay. So we're going to try this out and see what happens. Oh man, we're going to have to initialize a lot of stuff. I'm willing to bet. Okay, so for the first time when we actually get to see the custom game start getting played, I think it's pretty much going to be a non-interactive void. But we'll at least be able to hopefully see the first game room's description. So let's try to do that. Let's see here. So we're going to say UI.open, and I guess we'll call it, say, input view. Okay. And UI.get input view dot add text, and then we're going to need to say rooms of starting room, which is an index, right? Yes, haha. Dot description. Okay, so let's give that a shot. And before we can do anything else, I need to go to custom game map view. Let's go to the onPlay clicked function right there. And we're just going to say global.get custom game session dot start custom game, and we need a callback, which is going to be dragged on node fade area. Here we go. Private void on custom game end. That's going to just be UI. I guess it's just going to be. Oh. Ugh. Man, that's brutal. Okay. Open. What are my options? Yeah, that's not great. Alright, hold on. On play, load game image on map clicked, open, author session dot to JSON. Okay. Author session dot to JSON. Pow. Alright. We'll just pass that in. On play clicked. Alright. So I guess the only thing that I have left... you know what, screw it, we'll just test it. Fly by the seat of our pants. I do think we're going to end up having some changes to make to our parser. Namely, we're going to need to, I guess, input a scriptable object that has a list of special commands in it. It's not ideal, but we'll have to do something like that, just so that we can have some special commands for our custom games. So start, extras, author mode, create, Zork. Arr, so close. What do you mean, out of exception? Hold on. Don't tell me that it's clearing that information. Let's see. Custom game session 79. Oh, wrong thing. 79. Crud. Let me guess. Debug.log rooms.count. Oh wait, that's a list. Well, that could be why. Duh. Okay, so this should actually be, I guess, get room. Yeah. Yeah. That's a little bit better. Description. Dot. Oh, room description. Okay. There we go. So let's let that go. So that was just a little bit of idiocy on my part again. Common theme for today, seems like. And compile. There we go. Go ahead and clear that out. Go ahead and maximize on play too. Start, extras, author mode, create, Zork. Okay, let's go to our map. Okay, we got our stuff now. Arr! So that one actually was just, Alright, I'm going to put the debug in there. I'm a little worried that it's clearing that stuff when the map is closed. That doesn't really make sense, but it's possible, I suppose. So let's find out. So we're going to say debug.log rooms.count. Do it twice, basically. Let's make sure. So that's actually probably why. So it's doing the exact same thing that I said it would do. On play clicked here. So we're going to need to do this. Load data. Author session dot to JSON. Alright. Let's just do that and see what happens. So the problem was that the data wasn't loaded. Therefore, I could not actually play a custom game. Alrighty then. Now there are some other things that we're going to have to do eventually, like, you know, solid black backgrounds, image backgrounds, what have you. extras, author mode, create, Zork, map, play. Yes. All right, we got our stuff working. Hooray. So now we have to figure out the complicated ways of getting around the rooms. So that's going to be fun. And of course, it's going to take an eternity for Unity to actually close. All right. Let's see. What's the next thing we need to do? So we're going to have to basically create a bunch of interactive objects or interactable objects, and create them at runtime as we need them per room, as well as creating one for the room itself. But the big thing, I think, is going to be getting custom commands working for the parser. Because right now, commands are hardwired in as words in the dictionary. So if I look at my dictionary here, I have a bunch of words, and let's look for clear. Clear is a command, and that does something very specific, but it's also parsed in with everything else. But for this, we actually need to... actually, do I have E? I do have E. And it is a command. Okay. No. So right now, E is a command, but if E is actually... I'm actually kind of curious to see what happens here. I'm going to load a save game and type E. I'm pretty sure that it's just going to say you used E in a way I don't understand. So start, load. Come on. How can you be stuck at 90? Oh, it's because it literally had to do that. Either way. So let's type E. I didn't understand that sentence. Yes, it's because it's a command. East. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't understand that sentence as sort of my template sentence for when you input a command that it doesn't know what to do with. So let's go ahead and look at parser. I really should have given it a different name because there's a lot of things that have parser in them. Let's see, parser utility, parser. I'm going to fix something once this is finally interactable again. Let's see, what was it? I didn't understand that sentence. I didn't. Oh, is it I did not? No, it says I didn't. It's interesting. Either way, so that's direct objects. Huh, that means that something else has I didn't understand that sentence in it. Let's go for all, or I guess current project. And find all. Alright, well, we're down here. Let me go to my input view. Down here, view input. I'm going to get rid of our modifiers. Alright. So, one meshing file. Parser utility. Okay. Where is my parser utility? I didn't understand. Here we go. There it is. So do input control. We actually look up command words, and we see if a command word matches a specific command type. Okay. Let's drag that out. And right now, as I said, there's nothing really mapped to east, west, north, south, etc. But it's going to have to be. Oh dear. So, oh, is it not? Oh, it must get loaded in at runtime. I thought I had it actually be out here. Apparently not. I thought my parser was part of my global object, but it's not. Okay. Well, that kind of... I mean, there's no reason that it can't be. Uh, so that means we need some way of sort of breaking out the command functionality or the control word functionality so it can figure out what to do with it exactly. And that means that we actually would need to have a parser be just part of my global object. So right now, I think, where, oh, it might actually not be a thing. Yeah, parser is actually just a static class. Okay. Well, phooey. That kind of complicates things. Okay. Isn't that wonderful? So how do we want to break this out then? Do input control. So it does have a dictionary that gets set by itself. But the global dictionary could be set, but that's not going to matter after the first initial setting. What to do here? I need to have some way to plug in some scriptable object that can be checked against. But more specifically, I need to figure out how I want to structure that. So we could have one scriptable, well, see, that's the thing, is the scriptable object needs to have like a list of the commands that it expects, and a reference to some object that will actually process those commands. Or alternatively, I could just make a scriptable object that will process those commands itself. That's entirely possible. Because it would basically just be moving this. So, find all references. I was going to say it should be used in one spot, which is for this. So, yep. How wonderful. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to our global object here. And this is what has a reference to our dictionary. But we are also going to have to add a reference to a like command checker. That sounds terrible. Command validator. Commander. I don't know. Let's see. So let's go to our parser here. Oh, not parser tests. Parser. And I guess not dictionary, but let's go for folder, commands, create, C# script. What do I want to call it? Parser, and I want to call it like command evaluator. There has to be a good term for this. I can't think of one. Something that evaluates commands and sends them back. I don't want to call it command object. That's just too generic. It doesn't have any good flair. Names. I don't want to call it commander either. That sounds really stupid. I'll just call it parser commands. I can't really think of what else to call it. So, alright, let's open that up. And this is going to be a scriptable object that's going to actually handle how commands are processed. So, scriptable object. Alright. And let's go over here to parser utility. So we're basically going to grab this whole function, move this over here. I guess we'll grab it. So make this text quest. Alright, and that should fix all that stuff. Let's go ahead and say using sleepyl.common. Alright, and then we're going to change this from a static to a virtual function. And that's pretty much all we need for now. So this is going to be our default one. And it just kind of sucks that I'm going to have two scripts for this, but we'll have to deal with it. Alright, so down here, we're going to do our compilation stuff. So if Unity editor, there we go. And if, and this is called a compilation specific command. Basically it means that it's not going to compile if we're not in the Unity editor, and that's good because the next code I'm going to write is editor code. So we're going to say Unity editor dot menu item, and then I believe it's going to be assets create, and then SOS text quest and collections, and finally parser commands. Ta-da! Alright, now we're going to have to say public static void create asset. And this is actually going to create our scriptable object in the scene. Well, not in the scene, in the project. And then we can just say scriptable object utility dot create asset, and it's going to be a parser commands object, and we'll give it the name parser commands. Alright, so now we should be able to just click on this right here, once it compiles, of course. Shazam! I believe in you, Unity. There we go. Create. Let's see if I was right. SOS, text quest, collection. Oh, I guess it was under collection, but aha, I was almost right. Alright. Oh, right, and we don't actually have anything in there yet, do we? And I guess that's fine. It doesn't need anything. So it's literally just going to be empty scriptable objects that only have this one chunk of code that's being overridden. We're going to have to live with it for now. I can't really think of a better way to do it, honestly. Although I might have to come up with some more generic way of doing it in the future. For now, this will at least work. So collection, not collections. Alright, let's go ahead and let that go in. We're going to create another C# script. This one is going to be custom. Oh, right. I had the audacity to start typing as it was compiling, so now it's going to be something stupid. Oh, nope, never mind. Ha! They changed that. That's good. So custom game parser commands. Okay. So let's go ahead and open that up. Reload that. And it's essentially going to be a duplicate of our previous class, if it ever gets to that. Alright, well I can at least namespace it. Text quest. It's going to derive from parser commands. Let's go ahead and save that. Peak definition. I'm just going to be lazy and copy this whole thing. Paste that down there. Oh, right. Create custom asset. Custom game parser commands. Custom game parser commands. Alrighty then. And then we're just going to do override, do input control. And I guess I should take a look at that. Inventory, display inventory, verbs. That's fine. Save, that's fine as well. Well, no, actually it's not. Okay, so I'm going to just copy this whole thing, because I'm going to need some pretty specific functionality here. Alright, so session is not going to be calling save whenever we hit save there. It's probably going to be our custom game session that's going to do that, so we'll figure that out later. I'm not going to worry about it for now. Clear, that's going to be fixed just by doing this. Sleepyowl.common. Alrighty then, and let's see, jump. Don't need to do that. And okay, so the next thing we would have to do is actually evaluate direction. How wonderful. So case type dot Okay, so they just have cardinal directions. I wasn't sure. East, east, north, south, and west. That's it. Okay, I guess that's fine. So let's do north, break, and let's go ahead and add custom game session. We are going to say start custom game, end custom game. Public void move in direction, and oh dear, we're gonna need a direction, aren't we? Okay. Well, for now, we'll do this. All right, so we're gonna say global get custom game session dot move in direction, and I guess we'll say command type north. No, actually, direction ID dot north. Good, 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 good. Okay, so that's going to take a direction ID. Peak definition. Take direction ID. Direction. All right. Let's go ahead and save that. Move this back. And we're basically going to cut and paste this 4 times, or 3 times. So north, east, east, south, south, and west. All right. So, what to do? What to do here? For now, I'll let that compile. Come back over here to global. And let's see. Should I put this in global? No, I should put it in parser. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Let's go to parser. Go up here. And this is going to be interesting. Probably under dictionary, I guess. So public static parser commands command check. Ugh, I need a better name than that. I really hate that name. Get return. I don't really have anything there, do I? Okay, so I'm probably going to need to do that. Let's go to our dictionary up here. So we're going to say private static parser commands command checker or command checks. I don't know what else to call it. That's going to bug me forever. Command checks set command checks equal to value. All right. So last thing we need to do is this. Find all references. Control. So we're going to change that to be command checks dot do input control sentence dot sentence of I. Okay, as simple as that. And let's go ahead and say get rid of parser utility, that's fine. And for safety reasons, I will have the default one be here. So we're going to say public parser commands default command checks. Go all the way up here. And here in our get, we're actually going to change this around a little bit. going to say if command checks equals null, command checks equals global dot default. Oh, dot instance. Okay, hold on. Global dot. Okay, I guess I just have to make a public thing there, don't I? Apparently so, yes. I guess that's probably what I was doing here. Yeah, global dot dictionary. Meh. Alright. Let's go ahead and just go ahead and duplicate that, paste this in here. It's going to be command checks, command, default command checks, parser commands. Alright. Dot command checks. Alright, that's good. Let's go ahead and let that compile. So we should have a thing pop up here. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. There we go. Let's go ahead and do that. So now it should basically behave the same in the regular game, except now we can override it when we actually play in a custom game. Let's go ahead and say create. SOS, text quest, collection, and custom game. Okay. So I guess we're actually going to need to change this, won't we? Hold on. Rename this to default. Duplicate this. Change this to custom game. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. Custom game command checks. Where are we? Here we are. Alright. So I actually need both of those to be exposed on global. Because I have to assign references to them, and I can't really do that if nothing's referencing them. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so parser commands, custom game parser commands, we're good there. Let's go ahead and hit apply here. Save out. And then we're going to go over here to, where are we? Custom game session. So start custom game is going to say, let's get rid of you, and we are actually going to call parser dot command checks equals global dot custom game command checks. And then once we're done, we'll set it back to be default command checks. Alright, now, here's the real question. Let's just set up a switch statement here. Direction. Oh, this direction ID is actually a, yep, it's a collection item. Crud. How wonderful. Okay. Well, at least I can do this. Direction dot hash. And say case direction ID dot north dot hash break. Oh, really? Oh, well, look at you. Fine. Then I have to make a massive S. Is there a way for me to get around this? I really don't want to have a bunch of if-elses. Crud. I'm going to have to do that, won't I? That's disappointing. Very disappointing. Okay. Well, phooey. Um, I'm basically trying to decide how to move the player, or rather, how to signal that the player wants to move between rooms. And my plan was to basically get the direction that you want to go in, then see if there's an exit in that direction. And if there is, then, go into that room and show that information and yada, yada, yada. But what to do about that? So I can't get the hashes to compare them. Yep. No use, huh? Boo. So I'm gonna have to say, that's so brutal. If direction is equal to direction ID dot north. Oh, it's so painful. I would have to do 3 if-else statements per direction. Well, actually, I guess that's a lie. One for each of the 4 cardinal directions, and then one for each of the 4 non-cardinal directions. But still, man, no winning there. Huh? So I have to do 8 if-else checks. Gross. Else if direction is equal to direction ID dot northeast. So we're just gonna have a lot of this. East, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest. Oi. East. Southeast. South. Southwest. West. And northwest. I guess. Actually, no. Do I have to do that? So, hold on. Do I have a current room? I don't think I do. Okay, so let's go ahead and say protected int current room equals -1. And on end custom game, we're going to set current room equals -1. Whereas here, we're going to set current room is equal to starting room. Alright, simple as that. So we're going to say room info is equal to there we are. Is equal to get room current room. Alright. So info has exits. I dot, do I have a direction? Is it a direction ID? No, it is a string. Crap. Okay. Well, that complicates things now, doesn't it? Okay. Let's go ahead and say. So that's going to be exit room info. So we're going to say info dot. Do I have a get exit? Nope. That's disappointing. I might make one. Yeah. Okay. Let's make one. Go to room info. Go to definition. Let's go and say public room exit info get exit info. I guess with a string direction. We're going to say just for int I equals 0, I is less than exits dot count I plus plus. At the end, we're going to return null. But in here, we're going to say if exits of I dot direction is equal to direction, then we will return exits of I. I think that's fine. Dot to lower. Dot to lower. Okay. So let's see. Back here, get rid of our parser. Get rid of parser commands. And back here, we're going to say get room, and then we're going to say room exit info. Exit info is equal to info dot get exit info direction. All right. Oh, right. Dot name. And then we're going to say if exit info does not equal null, then we'll be able to do this massive if-else check. And actually, I don't even need to do that anymore, do I? I can just do that. Hooray. So I don't need a massive if-else check. Then we will say... so exit info has what? There's a connection color, connection index, and a target. That's what I want. So we're going to say current room is equal to exit info dot target, and then we will also say UI dot get input view dot add text get room current room dot room description. And if not, for now, we'll just say UI.get and add text. You cannot go that way. Okay. So let's try that, and we'll see what happens. If we're lucky, we should be able to get from the first node to the second node, and then we can try going back to the first node. Do I actually track which direction these connections go to? Actually, that doesn't even look like it's being saved for some reason. So we might want to hold off on this real quick. Let's go to custom game author session. Actually, no, we want custom game session. Come down here. Where's my 2JSON? 2JSON. Here we go. Variable settings. Rooms. Rooms JSON. Add room to JSON. Let's go to this real quick. Oh, right. Okay, so yeah, it was just because my exit count was less than, or was 0. Okay, well that makes sense. Why bother saving something if it's not going to actually do anything? It's just going to bloat your file size. So let's try that again. So this time we're going to make a connection going to the second room from the starting room. Let's type start, extras, author mode, create, Zork. Go to our map, add an exit to the east to our room 2, hit close. Then we're going to add an exit to the west, going to the starting room, close that. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this real quick. So this is what our save data looks like. That seems to be correct. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a shot. Play. We have the starting room. Okay. And now I'm going to say east. Oh no, east. Oh no, why not? Why didn't you understand that? Did it not get piped in? Custom game session. We had to have called start custom game. That should have set custom game command checks to be. Okay, well, let me check. I can't check. Crap. I mean, they're two separate things, right? Oh, whoops. I know what it was. So let's go to this, go to definition. Custom game parser commands. It's not because they were not targeting the right type here. It's because I was stupid and I did not actually change the type. Yep, right there. That was being created for the scriptable object. So I just made a scriptable object of the same type, just parser commands, but with a different name. So that was my fault. That was my fault. Okay. Let's go ahead and delete that then. Come on. I believe in you. You can do it, Unity. Alright, so let's try that again. Create SOS, text quest, collection, and custom game parser commands. It's the right type this time, so let's go ahead and fix that. Okay, now we can apply there. And now we can save and try it. Let's see if that actually fixes it. Start, extras, author mode, create, Zork, map, play. Okay, so we have the starting room. Let's go ahead and say east. Ha ha ha! Yes! Alright, west. Yes! So we can go back and forth now. That's convenient. So now it's a question of how do we want to start populating the items in the room. Which is actually probably not a question for today, considering that we don't have items actually being saved yet. So that's not something we can do. We can, however, figure out how we want to display all of this information. Or rather, when you go to a different room, should it just tell you the name of the room, or should it actually show you the name of the room and its description? Or maybe it should be on the first time you go there, it shows you the name of the room and the description, and then every other time after that, it just tells you the name of the room. So let's get some rough functionality in there. So we're gonna go over here to custom game session. We're gonna have a lot of stuff in here. So let's go ahead and say. How do we want to display that? Yeah, okay. So that means that I need to keep a running dictionary of visited rooms, I guess. I guess it could be a list. Yeah, a list would be fine. Basically say if the list contains a value, then you have visited it. If not, then you haven't. So let's go ahead and say... I kind of want to isolate these things so they're not quite grouped with everything else. So let's go ahead and go down here. And we're going to say game or custom game data, I guess, for lack of a better term. Paste that in here. We're going to have protected list. It's going to be a bunch of ints. So visited rooms equals new list int blah blah blah. All right. And if so, add text. I don't think we really care about anything beyond that. Let's see here. I'm going to have another function here that's just going to be a convenient way to actually output text to the input menu. So let's go ahead and say public void output. text, string text. Oops, that didn't work. Add text. All right, let's see here. And you know what? We might as well cache the input view. That way it's a little bit easier, and I'm not constantly doing UI.get. Let's go ahead and this custom game data up here. I guess we will have an actual reference to it. So, I guess we'll do this. Private input view, cached input view. And then up here, we're going to say private input view, cached input view, get return, cached input view, question mark, cached input view, colon, cached input view is equal to UI.get input view. All right, there's that. Makes it a little bit easier. And we can now go ahead and just say this is equal to that. Oh, right. Let's make that a C. There you go. A little bit easier for us. And let's go ahead and go down here to cache input view dot add text, and then we can just say output text everywhere. All right. And I guess we'll say visited rooms dot contains exit info dot target question mark. If so, then we'll just say get room current room dot title or room name colon yeah, it's probably fine. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to do this plus this plus a new line. All right. Let's go ahead and let that compile. And then we can test it out. All right. Oh, I guess I need to do this, don't I? So we're going to say if not visited contains exit info dot target, then visited rooms dot add exit info dot target. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. So it does look like connections are... they're not loading. That's a little disappointing. Yeah, so my connection saving and loading looks like it still needs some work. This connection save chunk makes it look like there are two connections coming from target ID 10 to 11. But both of them are indexed at 1, which is probably, I'm guessing it's just confusing which way it should be going. So it probably read one of 11s as one of 10s. A lot of babble. All right, let's go ahead and test that out. And ultimately, how names and labels are or descriptions are shown is probably going to be a setting that you can set when you're creating your custom game. But for now, we'll just have some sort of expected behavior just to test it. So map. So yeah, you can see this is super awkward. Let's go ahead and play. starting room. Let's go east to room 2, the second room. Let's go west, starting room. Let's go back to east, room 2, starting room. Aha! Nice! Alright, so that's pretty good. I'm trying to think of what else we need to do in the long run. We're going to need to add stuff like randomized chances for ambience. So maybe occasionally whenever you move between a room, you'll hear a bird chirps in the distance or something like that based on the room that you entered. Alternatively, I could just have a passive timer going that will randomize every time you enter a room. And if you just sit in a room for long enough, a line of text pops up that says, like, the sound of water, or you hear a water droplet hit the stone floor, or something like that. So that could be something pretty cool to have happen. But for now, we are going to have a couple of different things that we need to do. But not on the Devstream. I think that's actually, I need to plot out sort of what I expect to have happen when you actually are playing through it, just based on navigation alone. I'm not even talking about interactions with objects, although we will probably do that next weekend, or at least get it started. But we do have the rooms working to some extent. It's not quite actually finished. Let me go up here to this whole thing. So let's see, load game, start custom game, blah, blah, blah. All right, we're going to need pretty much this whole thing. And then we're going to say visited rooms dot add, I guess not current room, it's going to be starting room. Oh, I will go ahead and move this up here. Move this up, change this and this. Let that compile. And what do I want to do? Meh. That's fine for now. So, come on. I believe in you. Start. Extras. Author mode. Create. Zork. Map. Play. Let's go east. Let's go west again. Starting room. Let's go east. All right. So let's go ahead and take a screenshot of that. That's a pretty good place, I think, to end the stream today. A little bit of a short stream, but we got everything we wanted to do, and I need to really think about what or how I want to present a bunch of stuff. Because I'm going to need stuff like a opening blurb for your game, because when you start out playing a game, usually you have a little intro saying, you know, this is who you are, this is where you are, go off on an adventure. And you don't want that to show up, you know, every time you look at the room or every time you basically do anything regarding room navigation. And that should pretty much only show up at the very beginning of the game. Likewise, you'll also need a ending message for when you complete the game, or maybe several ending messages, depending on if you have criteria for beating the game. But that's just a lot of stuff, and I need to figure out how and where I want those systems to be in place, and how the user is going to interact with that stuff for making their own custom game values. Oh, you know what we didn't try? We didn't try going a non-direction, or rather, going in a direction that we didn't have a connection to. Let's try that real quick. So start, extras, author mode, create, sort, map, play. So we can go east, we can go west, let's go north. You cannot go that way. Ha! Okay. And then let's go ahead and take a screenshot of that too. So, alright. But yeah, there's a lot of small stuff that I would like to think through and sort of chart out how I want those interactions to be set. So for now, we'll probably call it a day, a little bit earlier than usual. But you know what? We actually made some decent progress. we have the games are playable. They're actually playable after what, 2 months, 2.5, 3 months of working on it on the weekends. So yeah, that's exciting. Um, so next weekend for this custom game stuff, I would like to start getting into actual object interactions, meaning things like swords. Well, maybe not weapons. Let's avoid combat for now. Let's really avoid combat for now because I don't know how to make that work. And let's just focus on things like lantern. And if you're in the light or in the dark, that's pretty much good for me. So, oh crap. Dang it. I always forget about that. I always forget that if I click off of this and then I click back on, it's going to import those things. Well, in any case, for now, I think that's a pretty good place to stop. Should be back on Tuesday for our regular dev stream. Any other announcements? Nope, should be good. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.